Hi, Marie.
Hey, Kat.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Awesome. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Ups and downs these days,
Ups
but
and downs. Yes.
but generally, I think things are going upwards. It's just that when you have a down, it can be challenging.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure.
So I have the cards,
Mm-hmm.
and so as always, we're gonna just pick a card and see what's the collective. What is our topic for today?
Yeah.
What is our topic for today? The Seven of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird. This card is coming up for me all the time right now.
Yeah. Okay.
I even got it yesterday. I got it for my April monthly reading. I got it when I was doing the yearly reading, but for April.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
Yeah. And
And
it's I smile and I laugh, on the inside because when we had our pre-talk, we were talking about, the potential ups and downs of life right now in April as things are moving very quickly. And
yeah,
it's like the sun on the bottom is kind of exposing, the pieces of us, that still needs to be lit up. And then you also have the other side of the moon. So they're opposing each other, and it's clearly showing us that it can be a little bit of both right now.
yeah, and also this card is all about often like ha being overwhelmed by so many options and so many choices and I mean it can be a good thing to have so many options and choices, but it can also be disorienting.
Mhm.
And you don't know what's up and down. Right now it's like, is it a black mountain with like just the, a white sky and it's the sun, or is it a nighttime vision with a the snowy mountains. I mean,
Yes.
it's hard to kind of sometimes be able to figure it all out
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Maybe also with just so many different opinions and so many different maybe views or truths out there, and trying to figure out which one is right and which ones are not, and how to kind of get your bearings
Yeah.
with so many things out there, so many options. What I'm getting here is that I feel like there's so many points of views, so many opinions, so many yeah, truths almost. And it can feel very overwhelming and also very hard when you're, let's say, talking with people to figure out what is right and what is wrong, what's up and what's down. It's almost like we don't, it's really hard sometimes to know.
Yeah. And what this card is so clearly telling us as well is that both opinions can be right. One is the upside of the other one, is the mirror of the other one. So just because we have a certain viewpoint or a certain opinion or a certain belief system doesn't mean that we're right. If you turn it upside down, it's also correct. So
Yeah.
I fully appreciate you pointing that out. And I also feel like we're almost meant to not know what's up and down right now, and we're meant to not know where how should I say? It's almost as if there's so many truths, so many opinions, so
Mm.
many beliefs that we're not really meant to be able to sort through them anymore. We're meant to turn inward, and we're meant to
Yeah.
kind of uh, be in the stillness and being in union with the divine, so that this outside up and down duality turns into a unification, so to
Yeah.
speak. And it's almost like, you have your two eyes, right? And that creates duality. But moving into your third eye, which creates unity, that is what I think this card is telling us to do.
That's so interesting too, because I do know that this card is also associated with that, which is it's not about actually looking and appearances and what and kind of using your rational mind to be able to choose or to know.
Yeah.
It's actually tuning inwards, tuning in with your intuition and your inner knowledge to be able to actually sort through things.
Hmm.
And that appearances aren't always exactly what they are, and you have to kind of dive deep.
Exactly. So with that card in mind, let's look at some cards
Yeah.
for, how do we cope with that? Because it's so easy for you and me to sit here and intellectualize about it, but when it actually happens in our life, it's completely overwhelming. Not knowing if my belief system is correct or if my thought is correct, but just being like almost like blind, just turning
Yeah.
inwards. It's not something most of us are used to. So
No.
let's see how we
It's
can get
also
some
really
help.
challenging too because I mean, recently I had something like that happen to me, and I still am convinced that I have the truth, and that my vision or my truth is more valid. So yeah, it can be very discombobulating to try to at the same time give space and honor other people's truths, even
Yeah.
if you cannot see or understand them. How are we? Yeah. So what should we ask?
How
How
can we
to
get
be able to
help
deal with
during
it?
this? How can we get help during this time to feel comfortable in the space of unknowing, when everything is unraveling because we know that the systems are falling down now. We know
Yeah.
it's astrology has been very clear about that. The ancient traditions have been very clear about that. This is the breaking down of a collective system. So what do we do in order to feel safe and protected in those circumstances?
Yeah, they're good. I'll pick two cards for that. So we have, wow, interesting. We have the Fool and we have the Eight of Swords.
Right.
So the Fool is
Beautiful.
all about actually having a beginner's mindset again
Yeah. Starting
and
over.
almost, sorry,
Starting over.
starting over.
Mm.
And in a way, I recently read too that was really interesting. It's also about going through your baggage that you have, because when you do jump off, if you are going to want to fly and learn to like actually have your wings, the more baggage you have and the more maybe, you know, hanging on to things
Mm.
means that you will be heavier
Of
and
course.
you will not be able to fly.
Yeah. And look at
Um,
those tiny wings that bird has. He's already stepping off, or she's already stepping off.
yeah,
It's already in mid action, like it's happening, and
yeah,
those tiny little bird wings, they can pretty much only hold that beautiful little fuzzy ball of a bird, but nothing else. So the fool
yeah.
has to leave all that stuff in order to be able to take that first flight.
Yeah, and I think it's true. It's about, I think, maybe taking risks. This card is also about taking risks, about maybe jumping off before you actually feel completely ready. But it's almost like knowing that it's by jumping off that your wings will grow or get stronger or something. You can't, there's just as much, there's just so much that you can do staying on the branch. And at one
Yeah,
point it's through the action and through the experimentation and also maybe through the errors that you make,
yeah,
because the fool will make errors. So it's remembering that, and to remember that as a child learning to walk, you will take two or three steps forward and maybe you'll fall down. And remembering that when you do fall down, it's okay too. I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
remembering that to be more gentle with
Yeah.
ourselves.
And also those wings, the muscle in those wings, they're only gonna grow by you actually using them.
Yeah, yeah.
So, creating that dream for yourself, you need to take the first step. Recently, a few people have reached out to me. They're starting like these small communities together with different people. I've been involved in one of them, and other people are doing things. And I really see how people are starting to use their wings by starting small, small
Mm,
communities of people that they
yeah.
feel comfortable with, having dinner together, having practicing yoga together, just, with friends and family and starting out small that way.
That's super, super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's true, as you said, it's like you can't, the little wings, you have to jump for them to actually, and in a way, sometimes you actually have to have that kind of reality.
Hmm.
Sometimes like when you're just doing it for pretend, there's not that little extra little stress that means that you really, really want to learn how to fly,
Yeah, yeah. And also, isn't it exciting to do something completely new? Like
Yeah.
in your midlife, you know, we focus on like the risk and being afraid and how do we manage these energies and so on and so forth. But isn't it also exciting to be like, wow, I get to try something completely new right in the middle of my life, like
Yeah.
something that I've
Yeah.
never done before. How exciting is this?
I agree because I do think that, like, for example, as hard as it is, because this card is also about getting out of your comfort zone. But if you stay in your comfort zone, sometimes it is boring. And
Mm,
if you only do the things that you know, it's not that exciting. And there's the unknownness that is actually exciting
mm,
and keeps you passionate about life and keeps you learning and keeps you, you know, almost a continual rebirth
mhm.
of knowledge, of information, of who you are. So,
Yeah.
and then we got this card too. So this was how to help. These both cards are how to help with this kind of not really knowing things. And we got this Eight of Swords,
Yeah.
which is about often feeling imprisoned and feeling trapped, but often through our own mind. And yeah, it's about, not feeling like you almost, that you feel like you can't open your wings to be able to fly with the sword.
Mhm.
So,
It's interesting because in this image, I see a lot of trust and safety and rest. So essentially, you know, when you are wrapped in your own cocoon, you know, when you're in your own home or, you know, place where you feel safe and you can rest, that's where you can recuperate. That's where you can, you know, come back to. There's always a place where you can come back to safety, and it's within yourself. It's in your
mm,
own stillness. So away from the swords of your mind or from opinions of other people, you can always wrap yourself in your stillness, in divinity, in unity and be safe there. There you can create your dreams, you can create your plans, you can create, you know, anything that you want for your future. And then when you're ready, you unfurl those wings and then you can show the world, you know, that you're ready.
yeah, it's what you were saying too with this one, which is, it's almost like with the two eyes you can't see, you
Mm,
need to go to your third eye. And so the third eye is you protecting yourself. Oh, I think it really goes back to what you were saying earlier, and I love that. It's about also remembering to go inwards.
yeah.
Um, so it's funny because almost these two are almost opposites, which is this one's about leaping off and taking risks, and
Hmm.
this one's about almost like going inwards, but also remembering the power of our mind and in a way protecting ourselves from it. So it's kind of funny. It's asking us both to almost jump off and spread our wings and also to, you know, um,
Yeah, but I
maybe
think
be,
I think it actually beautifully comes together because when you have the ability to go within and know the full trust of that
yeah,
stillness that's within you, you're not afraid to jump off.
yeah, yeah,
Because it's kind of like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm already
yeah,
safe. I'm already
yeah,
protected. I'm already
yeah,
in the kingdom of heaven, which is my
yeah,
temple. So
yeah.
therefore, I can do anything on the outside and I'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's definitely, I think about just being very mindful about the
Yeah.
swords that are kind of getting in the way. And again, it's like the swords, because swords and tarot have to do with our mind and our thoughts and our kind of our truths. But it's also like those can sometimes get in the way of actually seeing and being able to distinguish. And
Yeah.
but I agree with you. I think it's really about that going inwards and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful. I love that you said that about
I
that.
think it's the same as with the baggage you were saying. You know, you got to leave the baggage behind, and baggage can also be thoughts, can also be belief
Yeah.
systems, can also be blockages,
Yeah,
fears. And
yeah,
so, fully acknowledging that they're there, but that they don't have to touch you.
yeah.
Mm.
Shall we end with a message
Yep.
of love from our guides and highest self?
Yes.
Oh, well, two cards wanted to come out. Very interesting. Wow, two fives.
Mm.
And fives actually often have to do with conflict and kind of like chaos. And both of these, I mean, this card is all often about feeling as if you're kind of being pulled in different directions, which is
Mm.
so funny because that's how we feel when we're here.
Yeah.
It's about like kind of like competing ideas, competing philosophies, competing also parts of yourself, maybe. And then the five of Pentacles is all about often about scarcity mindset and lack mindset and feeling kind of like um, like poor me. And so it's interesting that these are messages of love, though,
Hmm.
you know, that
Yeah, I think they are because also in numerology, number five is kind of tied to adventure and trying something new,
mhm.
and breaking out of, being curious, breaking out of something that you haven't, something you haven't tried before.
Yeah.
And so I think, there's I really love these two cards together because one is multi-directional, the one with the twigs, it sort of has the lines that are going in all direction. And
Yeah.
another one is it's very directional. It's sort of has this downpour or something that's moving in one direction. So it's almost as if we can embrace that things that used to be moving in with just one timeline is now moving in many different timelines at the same time. If we can embrace that, we might reach for something and it might be gone, but then we reach for something else and it's there because everything is so fast moving, then we can relax in this time of huge change.
Hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. And I also love the way you are noticing the lines. And it's funny because in these two cards, the lines are very, very horizontal
Yes.
and kind of more, straight. Whereas this, I also what I'm getting from this is just this, I think it's also just a message that it's okay right now to feel in conflict and to
Yeah.
feel completely torn and in a way to like let that go through you. It's almost like let the rain pour over you. Just, sometimes it's okay also to remember that these moments are temporary though, but that we do go through them and that it's okay to feel that and to feel the panic. And we were talking right before the call started was just how we can go through moments where we just feel really horrible about ourselves or about actions that we took or things that we said, and that we just know that it will go through us, that it's a part of the learning process, that right now this might not be that comfortable and that that's okay,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so to accept that it's temporary, but that in a way maybe it's necessary.
Mhm. And
So
as you said that, the door opened. So some higher spirit came in to emphasize the message that you were saying.
I wanted to make sure it was loud and clear.
Yeah, exactly. When I do videos, my dog always shows up at the right moment to emphasize whatever it is that I'm saying at the moment. So that's why I noticed the door.
Or
So,
wow, that's so sweet that she
mm.
comes and barks or something.
And different kinds. He will come
Yeah.
and give me a kiss, or he'll come behind the camera, or he'll do different things and it's always at points where it's like, yes, this is correct.
Wow.
Mm.
I love that. That's so
Yeah, it's
sweet.
amazing. Yeah. Well,
Well,
thank you
thanks so much
for,
for watching. If you
yeah.
have any comments, let us know if you're going through this moment.
Hmm. We are,
Yeah,
for
come
sure.
join us.
Yeah, exactly. Come join us on this adventure of letting go and moving into a whole new space. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, Marie.
See you soon.
See you
Bye.
soon.